Brass, the section of the orchestra that can either make you feel like a hero or like someone just sat on a very expensive kazoo. Live from the spare bedroom orchestra pit, I'm Kitarraman. In the last episode, we took a detour through the percussion section. All the booms, bangs, and rattles I've used and abused over the years.
Bang, boom, shake, clap!
Today we're moving a few staves up in the score to talk about the brass libraries in my orchestral template. If you missed last episode, check it on my profiles feed. I've been through a brass journey worthy of Wagner himself. It all began with Miroslav Philharmonic 2. At the time it was accessible and it covered all the orchestral sections, but for brass specifically it quickly showed its age. Limited features and a dated sound that made me want something more modern. So I moved on to the Contact Factory library when I got Complete 11, and eventually to Symphony Essentials with Complete Ultimate. Not bad. I liked the sound enough to jump to the Symphony Series collection thanks to a sweet cross-grade deal. I set things up with a solo and ensemble patch for each instrument, but after a while the approach felt limited. I wanted something more flexible. That's when I turned to Chris Hein Orchestral Brass Complete. On paper, or rather in the walkthrough videos, it looked like a dream. Detailed features, tons of articulations. I even tested it through Best Services remote servers before buying. Once I had it in my collection, I set up one instrument per player instead of ensemble patches. That way, if I needed 6 horns, I actually had 6 horn parts. Perfect for contrapuntal riding, without feeling like I was playing Tetris with key switches. But 2 big issues. First, extended ranges. Cool for sound design, but risky for newcomers who might ride impossible parts. And second, the tone. Some notes in specific ranges just didn't sit right. I ended up blending it with Symphony Brass until my next big move, Infinite Brass. I grabbed the Infinite Brass with a student discount during my master's degree. I instantly loved the playability, but the sound? After heavy mockups, I realized it was a bit nasal. Like the brass section had caught a cold. EQing and staging helped, but I could never quite get consistent results. Later, I tested Nucleus and Cinebrass. I liked Cinebrass more than Nucleus, but its polyphonic legato was clunky. My solution? Use Cinebrass for sketches, then transfer parts to Infinite Brass, and shape its tone with tools like Isotopes, Match EQ to get closer to the Dennis Sands mix from Cinebrass. Recently, I brought back Symphony Brass ensemble patches to sketch quickly. Sure, the tone isn't Cinebrass level, but Symphony offers way more articulations and feels way less resource hungry. I thought about swapping Symphony for Nucleus to save memory, but losing the solo duet feature feels like too big a trade-off. That's where my brass section stands. A mix of experiments, fixes, and the occasional bad decision I refuse to delete from my template. If you've been following the series, you know the journey never really ends. So, if you want to see where it goes next, stay tuned and come along for the ride. I'm Kitarraman, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.